Okay, I was having a problem. I'm hoping that this is going well and that people can hear me. Give me 1 second. And so here's my hand. Let's see how things are going. Oh, looks like there's. Am I there or is that my old one? I think that's my other one. Yes. Oh, this is me, and I can hear me on this. I'm just going to mute that. So I'm hoping that people hear me now. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. That's my son there. So thank you everybody for coming by. Let's start all this again. That it's been a tough morning, I tell you. So happy Sunday, happy Easter, and I'm going to, before I get started and say hi, just going to let you know I'm going to do some pencil crayon work in this page that I had started with watercolors. I wanted to show you this half of the page that I've done a fair amount of the pencil work in, and now on this half of the page I'm going to continue this pencil work, and you can especially see the difference here between this sail and that sail, and between the wood here and the difference between what's happening. So I'm able to achieve a deeper color with my pencils. I've also used a little bit of my Pit Pens to work in some of this deeper black, and I'm adding a little bit of pencil crayon black into her hair now before I give it more definition to the strands. I just want to deepen some of the shadows. So happy Easter again to everybody. Glad you could come in. And I hope you're all having a great day. I spent most of my day yesterday. Well, not yesterday. Yes, day busy running around. And then I was expecting my daughter in the afternoon, but she didn't come over until after supper. And so yeah, it was a bit of a day. Anyways, glad you're all here. Hey, View. Thank you. Hope you're having a nice, relaxing day. And yeah, so I have decided I'm going to finish working on this page, which maybe I should zoom out a little bit. Can I zoom out a little bit on this right now? Nope, not gonna let me. Okay. Well, we're gonna stay there. Well, that's good, View. I've decided I've done enough with the watercolors. Now I want to add some pencil crayon to get to where I want to be on the colors on this. So here we go. And thank you, Jimmy, for being there, for letting me know that my mic wasn't working. I saw that Lori was here a little bit, so hopefully she'll come back. I'll move this over more to the middle here so you can kind of see more what I'm doing. So I'll come back on her hair a little later, but I want to get some of the areas that I want to be defined a little more with some of this deeper black. Yes, this is some of the fun part. Some of the funner parts. But I do love this. So this is, I thought that what I did is I worked on this side so that you can see the difference between what I've done in pencil, especially on the wood here. All the paddles are done, but the wood here and the difference between the wood here. And I've worked on the sails, so you can see the difference between the worked on sails and the not worked on sails. Done a little bit of work with the Pit Pen on her eyelashes and eyes, and a little bit of pencil on the robes. But You can see the difference in the water. And I'm going to finish framing this out with the black. I've got the gold in there, which I'll probably go over once I put the black in there again. So let's get moving along. And yeah, I just want to color today. And this just seemed like the right place to do it. So hope y'all are playing along, at least in your books. If not in this book, I think, where's my clip? I'm holding on to this page to hold it down. That's why I use these little flippies, because I don't like when they kind of flip up a bit. That's part of the hazards of using water medium. There's my other one. But easy to fix. Easy to hold down. Hi, Lori. Nice you could come back. Thank you for doing so. I hope you're having a good day. Spending some time with the family if you can. And if not, come in and spend some time with your coloring family. So there we go. So I'm just trying to add just a little bit of some deep shade into the areas that I know I want to be slightly darker, and try and highlight, or at least accentuate, I guess I would say, the light areas next to it. Oh, that's a good idea. I've got a small ham for Jimmy and I today. My daughter's off to her in-laws, I guess you could say, this evening with the kids. So, we take turns. And I had like a little more time off than the in-law did, so it just worked out. I had them over yesterday. You can see I'm kind of moving around, just looking for where I want some of that shadow to be. Now, cross-hatching is a big subject right now. My friend Christine of Cat and Paste is getting, thank you, Lori, is getting some notoriety. I was watching a pictured purpose is her name. She's Australian. She's a younger girl, but she's been getting quite a number of followers. Pictured Purpose does. She has quite a number of followers, and she mentioned Cat in her video, because she was trying cross hatching, learning a new skill, so to speak, in her cross hatching. So, and you can use the cross-hatching technique in a lot of different things, is where I was going with this. If you're looking at the hair, I'm kind of taking my pencil, and because I'm flicking it in the direction of the hair, you're going to see that later on, even if I put something else over top of it. So that's why you kind of put certain marks where they are. And I remember being told by an art teacher a long time ago that when you're doing line art, you try to make your lines different widths and thicknesses to give them interest. So I'm trying to keep that in mind also. And that's why I kind of make it a little thicker here, because I want more definition there. And then I'll come up here and just kind of flick it away. Again here. Because that's going to be the direction of the hair. There we go. Yes, Cat. Thank you, View, for that. Cat and Paste is Christine, but it was a pictured purpose in Australia who has a large following that mentioned Cat and Paste in her video. So I thought that was very cool. Our friend Christine. And if I misunderstood what you were saying, I apologize. There we go. Yes, she is so cute. I tell ya, and that's probably why she's got such a good following too. And her little trip to Japan, oh, I wish I could go to Japan. That's kind of what I would say is on my bucket list a bit. I have to admit. I have to admit that. I also want to make this coming out of her tassel here just a little. Dark in behind there. Because I will put more on top of it. That's looking good. Yes, newlywed. That's right. She is. She was talking about it. She was changing up her wall behind her and reusing some frames that she had used at her wedding. She said it's just been over a year that and she was reusing the frames from her wedding that said kind of like had the menu and that put in them and stuff in different spots, I gather. So I thought, way to go, girl. Reuse those things, you know. So that's coming along. Now I want to do a little bit more in her hair. Now I pictured her hair to be like a white silvery gray. I have added a little bit of some blue in there to define some of the darkness, and I want to continue with a little more of some warm gray. Get my empty out my sharpener here. She does a great job. She tries lots of different elements. I should show you. I used to, when I was doodling and talking to people on the phone. Okay, here's just a piece of paper here. See, I do all sorts of things when I'm talking on the phone. Let's just find something that isn't too personal. Okay, there's a blank one, and I'm talking with my mouth full, and I'm gonna grab my 0.5 Pit Pen. Well, can't really draw a circle very well with one stroke, but I can give you the idea that this is a ball with, actually, I think I want to put the light more there. This is cross hatching. You could call it scribbling, but I'm using multiple layers of the pen in different directions to describe an area in 3D. Oh, yes, you are traveling all the way to Texas. Hi there, Husky. Hi there. Hi, Shar. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention there. Shar, Husky. Okay, gotcha. I'm all caught up with everybody there. So, hi, everybody. How you doing? I was just talking about cross hatching. I used to do things like this all the time. When I, sitting on the phone waiting for people. And the darkest part is always down there on the bottom. Somewhat. Depends. You can sometimes get a little bit of a reflection that way. Hello, Devin. How are you doing? Yo, and so that's, cross hatching. Doing it with the square. If the light's coming from here, this end of the page again, I would just do that real quick. And then in here. A little more. And you can build that up and just leave the very top part. I will fill out this square in a second. So let's say this was a window pane in a coloring book, and you could use different colors on your window pane to describe the light. So let's say this was a yellow and working down to a deeper blue, depending on where the light fell. Anyways, that's my little cross hatching play with just a pen. And I will get back to playing with some hair. And I also took out my my Prisma silver pen because I want to try some of that in her hair. Alrighty, so I'm going to get back in. You guys keep yourselves all entertained, and I'm just going to continue putting some dark spots in her hair so that we can get some light colors also and make the robe and her hands stand out and her face. I want to do this. I can see a strand coming down there that's going to be a little lighter, I think, by the time I'm done. We'll just bring this down here where this is going. Yes. Well, you're welcome, Lori. That's, that's it. If you want to practice, that's it's a good practice actually. Just draw a shape and then try coloring it in with just a pen, giving it some depth or showing a light source. So, anyways, I am now, like I said, trying to deepen her face against, and I can just barely see the outline of her lips there. So I'm just going to deepen the side opposite, darken the shadow instead of lightening her lips. Lightening lips. That's a hair now that's coming that way past her lips. And her chin's down here more, which I can just kind of see, but we're going to have this kind of be a hair, and that's going to make that all disappear. There we go. So I'm getting better at what I would say is talking to myself when you guys are around. Okay, this is 70%. So this is about as dark as I want her areas to be. Yeah, you guys, get to know each other. I've seen Husky around a bit. I think Husky. Where did I first see you? Was that at Dee Dee's? I think so. And then assorted places. I think most of us all know Dee Dee. Shar, I think you popped in. I think you knew View, which in a way is kind of a relation to Dee Dee. Yeah. Anyways, we all love to create and color and share. Always, share what you do. I love to see what people do with these. And I did, Dee Dee did it. Yes, Husky, in the vintage jewelry. That's right. I still have those. I still have my vintage jewelry. I doing that mostly on Etsy though these days. This I kind of this is fun. Not that wasn't fun. But it gets a little hard just getting out there and buying new stuff all the time and doing it. I'd rather use what I have and showing it. Rather use what I have. I can find things locally and then I list them. What did I get recently? Didn't find any jewelry recently. Oh, I found an Anna Lee doll. That's good, Char. I found an Anna Lee mouse doll that was a baseball player, and then a Raconda Artemisia, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm not good at pronouncing it, but I can recognize them from a mile away, what they look like. They're little clay figurines that were made. They're quite cute, usually of animals, by, I think it's an Argentinian firm. It was quite popular. But yes, her hair is coming along. Again, trying to make a definition a little bit between the light and the dark. I think that's kind of more how that's got to go. And then bring this up in here a little bit. I've switched from the black to the gray, so it's a little different. Oh, yes, there you go. I love thrifting locally too, and that's what I do. And I will find little things. Like, actually, I've got a couple of little jewelry pieces on my desk that I have to list. Just little fun things. A little salamander, but yeah, it's fun to go and find things. Mostly these days, I've been finding things for my artwork, so that's lots of fun. Like my little bamboo boxes that I'm putting my pencils in currently. That's been that's been great to do that, and that can just sit over here next to me, and I can see all the pencils I want. And these ones are just the wax pencils, so I have lots of fun. I got my acrylic pens just over here in front of me, and then I have a couple of jars and things with different pens, like my Pit Pens and that, also in front of me on the other side. All set up with the camera up there. Play away. Now the fur on these ladies, I've been thinking, I think I want to keep it more white, but I gotta put some shadows in here. And I may end up, I'll show you what I did on this guy. Here he is. So this guy had kind of fur like that also. And then I put in like really dark Posca, dark Posca, and then a medium gray kind of Posca, and then on top a white Posca with a little bit of white gel pen on top of that to create his texture. Oh, an easel. That's so nice. That is so nice. But yes, I love just finding things like that you can, fit into your life. Anyway, so I was thinking about doing that with these ladies. So I need to build up maybe a little bit more of a darker base in order to do that. Plus, I need to finish their skin. And I got all the wood on the boat, and I got all the sails to do. So maybe what I should do is, instead of playing with this fur and their hair, so you've kind of followed what I was doing with that, let me pull this down to my sails and do some of this again. So I had this one and this one, the carmine, the crimson red. I had this peach one. Yep. And then I had a little bit of a yellow. No, more of a creamy. Was this one? So this is what I'm going to put into these sails again. Just need to sharpen a couple of pencils here. Hello, Bethana. How are you? Nice to meet you. Yeah, and the Pit Pens are doing really well. Like this black outline is Pit Pen, and look, not a show up on the back at all. And look how deep that is. So yes, I'm really, really happy to see that. Well, that's good. I hope you're having a great day, Bethana. Glad to see you come over and visit. I just wanted to do some coloring today, so here I am. Now I had done some of this sail in the back a little bit. I want to get out also this sienna brown for the crossbars while I'm here. Yes, thrifting is the best to find things. So here we go. I wanted, let's get this bit of a crossbar in here, which I know is there, and I'm going to use that for some light. And this back here. Not too dark, not too defined. These ones are going to be a little more defined because they're up front. So they're going to be crisper and darker. Okay. Oh, a color by number app. Well, that's good. Those are always lots of fun and certainly relaxing. I kind of like to do it more in person. And I'm a rebel in that I like to pick my own colors, but I've done color by number books. I have color by number books, and they are a lot of fun, especially if you really don't know what you're going to end up with. And sometimes they can be very rewarding, especially if you've got the medium that's going to allow you to get the colors and the depth of color that you're hoping for. Okay, that's this one back here. I'm just going to add that. Kind of bring that together a little more. Okay, there we go. I like how that's working together. I'm just going to set that up there, and let's get back to this sail. So, against your head. We're going to try and make that look fairly solid, and then and I tend to do this a lot. If I think I want the grain of a fabric or something like wood, fabric, hair, I will make sure my pencil is going in that direction. And if I need to deepen the color, I can go in the opposite or over the same way. And that's how I kind of attack this stuff. And I am no expert. It's just how I like to do it. You see, I'm really kind of doing almost a cross-hatching technique here, where I'm going against the grain of what I already did to deepen the color of this red. So there we go. with the grain, create your main strokes. And then if necessary to deepen, you can come back. Now a lot of people say that they do circles, you know, when they say they want to burnish. I don't necessarily have to burnish every page, but there does come a point where you know, or I know, that it's where I envisioned it to be. And I'm just going on and on and on. So, and if you are here, please give me a thumbs up. How many are watching me? I gotta look. Got 7 of you. Please give me that thumbs up. Helps. And I hope, as I said before, you're all having a great day. And even if you're just listening, out there listening to me while you're doing something else, I totally understand. You might be getting ready for the family to come for their Easter dinner. That's usually what happens. And Easter dinner in Canada, let me see. We will have turkey. We will have ham. Turkey's still pretty big in here in Canada, even for Easter. A lot of people have both. You've got the big family coming. You know. So there you go, everybody. And what is it? So tonight my son and I are we're gonna have some ham. I've got some nice buns out. So if we decide, we might just have some ham buns. Neither one of us are big on scalloped potatoes. And mashed potatoes and ham doesn't sound good to me at all. I would do some cheesy ones. But I have got some beautiful fresh buns and a big fruit tray. So I think it's going to be a fairly easy Sunday for me. And I just got a small one because it's just the two of us, the ham. But even that's going to, well, unless he decides, he might still be listening. Yes, I hope, View, you're feeling better. I didn't realize until the other day that your mouth was hurting and you were talking about that person who was giving you a hard time. And like I said, I missed all that drama, so. And probably just as well, because if they were on your channel while I was sitting on there, I would have kicked them out pronto and given them a piece of my mind. Oh, there we go. We'll just keep going with this one since I have this color in my hand. And you can see I'm kind of working this way. So going back to art teachers, they always talk about using your whole arm and that. Thank you, Devin. I've got a ruler block here. I'm gonna put under my arm. Just I don't want to smudge this. You see, you know, when I put a base, anyone puts a base color, not just me, and then you work in this cross hatching method. You can see the watercolor paints coming up from behind. Like I can see here lines, which shows lines of dark and light, and it does. It gives, I think it gives the picture a little bit of more, not light and not life, but the combination of that, whatever that is, enriches it somehow. And I'm just gonna work that back around her head. Don't want to rub it, but it's coming along. Let's just kind of go on with these two over here. And you see I'm changing the angle of my stroke to match the angle of the sail. Go. Let's see if I can get this done before I have to sharpen this again. Don't like it when it gets too dull, but I don't want to sharpen them and just keep wasting lead either. There is a point where it's a bit too much, but that is good. Thank you, Devin. I think, did I say that? Just let me just give this a tiny bit of a sharpen. There we go. This Faber-Castell, I know everybody likes the Gugeli, but I like this because I've got the 3 different sizes, and it's easy for me to hold. Sometimes I find little small things are not easy to hold if you have a little bit of arthritis. You gotta kind of find something that fits your hand a little more. Now, if you're scared of going too far with your flicks, I know that, you know, I kind of know where my flicks will end up. I've been doing this a while. But you could always use something like this and, you know, just do this way, especially if you've got a really small space that you want to do. I still do that with some tinier spaces. Little tip there. Now she's got kind of a flower here, so I'm going to be a little careful about where this ends up next to that. I don't want to necessarily go over that. Might use my acrylic pens to bring that out, or my gold gel. Not quite sure if I'm going to have that as a, should be something bejeweled, I think, because it's a stick pin, not just a flower. Yeah, so I rewatched Chris's, hi Chris, oh, you just came in. I was just going to say, I rewatched your video this morning about you, yesterday's video this morning I watched. Because I was able to sit down and pay attention. You still get up way too early in the morning for me, girl. Anyways, there we go with that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the Carmine red, which is a little bit lighter red. And I'm not going to start necessarily right at the edge of the sail. I'm going to start a little bit back to give it a bit of a blend, but still achieve that linear look. Like I said, it's not crosshatch, but it's something I think that's can be viewed in the family thereof, and certainly is a method, I'm sure, in colored pencil work, but I don't know what the name of it is. And that's just going to be a subtle change. But I can see the difference. I want the sails to look somewhat transparent, if I can. Oh, okay. Well, I guess, I would rather be coloring than sitting and watching your cleaning lady do the cleaning in your house. Yes. Alrighty, let's continue with this. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this done. And then I want to decide what picture I should do next in this or the green book, because I now have the green book also by Gugeli. So there's View, Devon, Chris, Joanne, myself, Dee Dee, who else? Who else has either the green or the red book by Gugeli, which is the artist that made this book? Alrighty, well, we can kind of figure out what we're gonna do. Hey, and that would be fun. Now I know there's a couple of pictures. You have both of them now too. Okay, there's a couple of pictures that I have to catch up on that you guys have already done. Like, this is just giving this a little more light coming in here, which is like back in here. You can see that color. There's the sea serpent that Chris has been working on. There's the ones, the boys that View's done. Oh, there's a whole bunch of pictures you guys have. Some of you have started, not all of you have started, that I should catch up on. Or we could kind of, I know View will be a while before she finishes hers, so I've got some time. View, if you're still here. Love you, girl. And yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with the spooky coloring book still by Sarah Shefchik. In fact, that's a good one to have kind of down if I want to maybe watch TV with my son, and I can play with that. Have my box of crayons. My box of pencil crayons, as we call them, not coloring pencils. Or colored pencils, excuse me. Go around that a bit. This is kind of, now, it's getting to the point where this is almost, because I've had so many layers on it, it's getting burnished in, but you can see it makes quite the difference. When you were at the bookstore, I have not, I got that a while back, and I bet you I'm almost halfway done the entire book. I just love the paper, especially for wax pencil crayons. I found my oil pencil crayons on it. Didn't like it as much. They didn't, have as good of a color lay down. So I decided that was an experiment that I was not willing to continue. It doesn't really like water too much. I did do a little Neocolor too. I'll talk about it when I put out my pages for March. I've got that video going to be coming up soon. Anyways, got that. But yeah, they didn't, it didn't come out quite the way I wanted with the Speer Farben, which is an oil-based pencil. And the water-based pencil, the Neo 2s, too much water really started to crinkle the paper. So what I started to do is just take the color off the Neo 2s and use that with my water brush to have it work on there a little better. This is a little creamier than the one I had used before, but I kind of actually like it. Because I'm going to do a little bit of this too on this one. Because I kind of want, like I said, to be a little more transparent. And I'm going to do that. Much better. To me, it looks better. I'll fix those too. Just, yeah, not quite as bright. If I do that these ones. There we go. There we go. Those ones look even more in the distance. That's better. And then these ones even more in the distance. Yes, I saw that. The ballpoint pens on the Bumblebee you had going. Yeah. I'm having a hard time sometimes keeping up with some of the books that I get. But my lovely granddaughter, she really has a great time going through them and picking out one or two for herself. So, and I'm happy she does. She's turning into a little colorist also. So those are coming along. Did I do the white on that? A little bit. I don't think I went quite as far as I wanted to. Then I'm going to put back a little bit of the crossbars. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Showing behind it there. So that's there. Bring back this sienna brown that I had. And don't get my head in the picture, try not, and then just bring these crossbars back a little bit more. I put in a little bit of color. I just want to maybe just bring a tiny line in just to make sure it's there, not the whole bar. Except at the end here, I want that to show up. And then once it gets under the fabric, kind of disappears a little bit. Oh, that's good view. I hope to see it soon. And glad that you haven't taken a break from that awful job of cleaning there, Yolande. So is the family coming over? Is that what you're doing, or just this is your day to get the cleaning done? I know sometimes you get the cleaning done because it's easier when no one else is around, right? Now these lines here, I have to say that those I used with my little teeny tiny Pit pen, and just to make the guide wires rather than use a coloring pencil, because pencil crayon, because I didn't want it to look very thick. And then I want to do this part of this sail, the mast. I'd already put a black kind of a outline on it, showing me that is the side that I want more shade, because I decided that was more shade. Oh. Yeah, acrylic markers are fun. think just a little there and a little here. Now I'm going up this pole. Still gotta do the wrap around the bottom, but this is good enough for the pole part. Let's see, it's finished, like I say, get these done. Keep thinking that I've got the top of my head in the shot, and I don't mean to, sorry. Darker at this end, kind of fading into nothing over here. Give the appearance that this is in front. At least that's my intention. I don't know if it works all the time, but I've added I've done these ones a little darker and a little thicker than that because this color here really had disappeared. So I still want to make sure that that's there. And then I'm going to use a little different brown than this to define those. And that sure won't hurt. Because it's wood. Wood's lots of different colors, and if I happen to use a different color brown on that wood instead of that wood, it's not a problem. I think, yeah, let's get some dark brown in here. View. Oh, you can eat now. Great. I hope you're having something good to eat now that you can't go. That's what I did. Well, I even took my pencil crayons actually in my carry-on, Devon. In just, I had a lockable cigar box that I took my pencil crayons in. Threw that in my carry-on. My carry-on was big. And yeah, it worked as long as you can get it on the airplane, you know. I'd do it. There, that's a little better. Darken those. Do. Okay, that's good. Got that part done. Let's do these ones now. That one I want fairly noticeable. This one's a little behind the fabric though, so not so much. The end will be dark. just line, a line along the bottom edge. So are you going somewhere soon, Devin? Back to Japan? I would go there in a heartbeat. That's for sure. That's for sure. Yes, they are. Do. You know, I know how important teeth are. My husband ended up getting, yeah, most of his teeth pulled out. Hadn't looked after them for a long time, certainly not as a child. And there was quite a while there, you know, I was making sure there was no, well, not no chewable foods, but certainly foods that would be easy to chew if necessary, and or cut into small enough bites that you didn't really need to. Oh, Amsterdam and Morocco. Oh, that sounds lovely. Are you gonna go see Raoul? Who was it? Who was it that invited us to Morocco a long time ago? Was it Raoul? I don't remember. There was someone in the community I remember that was saying that you know, if we ever got there, that he would take us around. And I'm trying to remember who it was. My goodness. Sure, it was someone that came in and visited Dee Dee. Just can't remember. Okay, he's in Spain. Yes, I heard he was sick. Yes, definite hugs for Raoul. We all need support. We all do. All need thoughts. I don't want to say thoughts and prayers because sometimes that feels like a very empty thing to say. But certainly I send him all of my best wishes and heartfelt good thoughts for him, and hope that he gets well soon. He's got a lot of life to live and lots to give. Just gonna make this center pole a little, just a touch deeper. Maybe not the whole thing, but more just a faint line there. Nine pages done in Cute and Cozy. Yeah, I like the Cute and Cozy book. I haven't done anything in that one for a little while. I do like doing more to it than just the alcohol markers too. I think that's fun. And certainly it's a great book to practice different techniques on, so you can color in the background with your alcohol markers, try different techniques with that. But they're small enough that you can try other coloring techniques too. Put your base in. There. I like the one that you did the other day, Devin, um, uh, with the blueprints. I have some real blueprints. Actually, it's an old text for drafting engineering standards, and amongst other things, and I think some actual housing blueprints. They don't do it like that anymore. Oh, that little tiny one that you twisted View's rubber arm and coloring in. Yes, that's a great size to take with you. And when do you leave on that? Soon, I hope. You don't want to be in Morocco in the hot, hot days. Okay. Yeah, Books a Million, Amazon 10 minute. Oh, there you are, View. Okay. I gotta check myself every once in a while. I might be way behind too. Because I keep losing there. I keep losing. No, you didn't. I have. You didn't sound cray cray. I'm a little bit behind. Because I keep. It seems not my phone, but my laptop keeps disconnecting a little bit. But where am I now? Okay, here I am. Back. Back doing a little bit of this. I want this to be the dark side. The dark side. Come to the dark side, Luke. And then I want these a little darker. I know it's the pole end also, but it's so small, it's just not worth worrying about. It's my book, and I'll do what I want. There's the pole. Okay, just a little one here. Yeah, so yeah, my dragon page is done, and I just want to kind of get this one done, and then move on to another, and see what everybody wants to do. Because I sure do. I'd love this if I was to get a book, any books done, completed, I mean. I would say that I would want to complete the spooky book, which I think I'm going to. And then these Gugeli books, which I can only say I hope to. On the way, but not completely certain. Now I just want to finish off those arrows with this dark gray. There it is. Yeah, she did. So if I see it, I'd probably pick it up, but I haven't seen it. Well, I could probably convince my son. I don't like to sign up to a lot of different things. Frankly, oops, forgot to do that. Some of those millionaire tech bros I don't like to giving any of my money to. So, kind of get stuck between a rock and a hard place sometimes. But I do like to go out and check out in my community if I can find them. Like I have an Indigo books here. I don't know if that's a thing in the States or not. Hello, Carol. Good morning. So I don't know if an Indigo books are prevalent in the States or not, but it's the one place I can look for coloring books other than, Walmart or HomeSense or bigger box stores like that. Now, frankly, sometimes I find some decent coloring books at thrift stores too, so that I can't complain about. I found a few Joanna Basfords there. I actually saw a couple of Millie Muradas, but I'm not big on her style, but it was, they're good books. A lot of people like her. So I'm going to get back to the wood. And I'm going to pull out, let me just see here. I had the light umber, I had the dark brown, I had the sorry, that's my pencils. There we go. I had the goldenrod, and I had a good old sienna brown right here. And I have a Crayola light brown, because sometimes these harder pencils come in handy just to set some of these. Yes. Okay, I'll look for it again at Indigo, but they don't seem to have it in my Indigo. They have a heck of a lot of cozy coloring ones, but not that one that I saw. I've seen The Epic World of Tolkien. I've read all of his books long ago, way back when. Well, not when he first wrote them, but back in the 70s, I guess. With the cheek circles at a thrift store. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful book. So I'm on the lookout for the new one that she has, the fairy tale book, and then the newest one that's just coming out. I will be seeing what I can do about that. Oh, this is my Crayola. I don't want to use that first. So I'm going to come in here along this fence line with my Sierra Brown. And I want to just kind of define some of that, kind of matching these colors here. I'm going to give this a little sharpen. I have to go in and look at views last last live. She was up late again. Yeah, when you have a lot of really good line work, it's not hard to color in, that's for sure. So you see, I'm kind of trying to match what I've done over here. So I'm going to, first of all, put in these little Dewey's decorations. Just define their shapes a little more. And the bottom of this railing. The bottom of this railing. And looking at where the shadow should be. Do. It's funny because these railings, the shadow kind of moves a little bit along them. From one side to the other, because you're looking at a ship that's curved. I still think the light's more over this way, just because of how the artist had her depth of color, her more of her ink work on this side. What else is going on? Oh, I know what else is going on. So I'm expecting a parcel. Oh, I was showing your smoke on Wednesday. Showed the 8. Yeah, words are hard. Yes, I have something special coming up. I hope next week. I'll let you guys know what day I'm going to do it. I'll probably go live, but I'm expecting a parcel. Yeah, I'm expecting a parcel. I'll let you know when I go live and open it up. We'll see. I'm not. It hasn't arrived yet, so we'll see what that happens. But the other thing that's going on is I'm starting. I'm going to go to. Well, they say it's an art class. I don't know that I need an art class, but it's an kind of an art kind of chat, get together, kind of social thing. We'll see how it goes. You know how it is. Maybe some of you know how it is. But just wanted to kind of get out there a little bit more. Find sitting at home is not good for me. And I got lots of things to do yet. Why are you fainting? You like swatch them and you blame. Oh, 8 pencils for 40 Canadian dollars, and they were the. Yes, I'm using mostly Prisma here, Husky. This one certainly is a Prisma. I do have and these are all Prismas that I've pulled out. I got Crayolas in my box. I also carry some, these are pastel colored pencils. I picked them up. They were called Pastelowe, Pastelowe, and it was, I think, from Poland. It was all pastel colors, but I didn't have any of those, so I thought that was a great buy. I've got my Black Widows in this box. I mix all my pencils up. I mix up my wax pencils with my wax pencils, because you can use them all together. And if you kind of know, like this one is the Black Widows tend to be a little harder than the Prismas. So, yeah, it's kind of exciting, Devin. We'll see, like I say, we'll see how it goes. And I'm kind of excited about the parcel that's coming, and I'll explain all of that when it gets here, how all that came about. But I hope you guys can come and join me for that little show. I'll definitely put out a post to kind of say it's happening before I do. In the meantime, I gotta do my finished colored pages from February yet. There's no railing up here, but I do want to do some of that house, but we'll save that. We'll just do a little tiny bit there. I'll finish that part. I want to put in on there this goldenrod. Just of a little bit of a yellow base to brighten up this wood. And in that corner is so hard. And it's not a very sharp one right now because I just want a little bit of color on there. Little bit of color on there. If I make sure I have it in the right spot, then everything else behind it will work out too. What's everybody saying? Yes, a real mixed bag of all my pencils. So this is like all of my Prismas. One box of Black Widows. Probably about 90 Star Joys. And then I've got, besides this, I have like a little tray that has all my little shorties in it. But it's probably got several hundred, definitely several hundred, 300 to 400 pencils just sitting in this box alone, I would think. And then I have another box too that I have got all my watercolor, water activated pencils in, like my Inktense and my Graphitint. I just found that box recently at the thrift store, similar to this, just kind of a utensil box where they all stand up. I also have my water soluble, my Crayola super tips in there. I keep my alcohol markers separate from my watercolor markers. And I also have, and also in that I have my Shabir Farman, which is my oil-based pencils. The only pencils I have separate right now are the ones that I put in the cigar box to go to Mexico with, and those were Raffinos, and I picked those up for like $5 at the thrift store. But they are excellent little pencils. They fit in that cigar box perfect. So I'm keeping them in there, and they just may be my travel pencils. So there we go. So yeah, so I know that everybody likes to kind of know the colors that you're using, and I'm a big person that when I have my pencils in a box or a folder, I'm continually flipping, looking for a color I want. Now, if I can see like with all the tips, I know basically what I'm looking for, and that works for me. I think there's definitely some colors I gravitate to more than others, but as you color more, I think you'll find the same thing happening to you. There are certainly some colors I like more than others. View happens to like the color yellow, and Purple Penny likes purple, of course. I just like to have lots of color. I like bright colors. I'm not a big one for pale colors or just beiges. I couldn't ever live just a beige life. Hey, hi Chris. I'm waxing philosophical here about pencils and life. I'm just putting a little of this base of this down there. I'm going to do it on this next plank too and cover up those portholes just a tiny bit because I'll be outlining them. I'll also be using my black pit pen to define the holes a little more. And this is just to bring some of the yellow up. And you can see all of that, all of the strokes of the paint that I put in the background are still there. I'm not doing, this isn't heavy. This is kind of just barely going over the paper, but it's giving it a nice tint on the wood that I'm looking for. You know what I have is, and this, I see that you say about the swatch reference. There you go. See, Lori likes the yellow ochre. And it is a great color for lots of stuff. But what I tend to do is I'll have, like you saw this little book, you know, I have something that I will put, piece of paper that I will put colors on, like that, just to kind of make sure that I have the right color, usually sitting by my side somewhere. Just to make sure I have the right one. I'm not that fussy, I guess. I'm not saying that you're fussy, but I'm not that fussy about what color is going down as long as it's working for me. I don't have color cubes. I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want it to look like, and then I kind of go from there. And like I say, if I have a piece of paper beside me to kind of give me an idea of what, make sure I have the right pencil for what I have my idea for, that's fine. Halawa pencils. I've never tried those. I like teal and blue. I like blues and purples and greens. I guess those are, you know, those are probably more of my favorite, is the blues, purples, and greens. But you can't use them on every picture. Well, you can try, but after a while you got to use a different color. And I'm just deepening this. I want the shadow line, which I think that is defined a little deeper. Well, I'm just going to put it over here since I have it in hand. Alrighty. That's coming along. Next I'm going to use my, what did I do with, oh, put it up there. Coming back to my sienna. Oh, that's interesting. Potato brown, sand, and yellow ochre. Yeah. Yes, all of them work well. I like seeing pictures and having ideas of color combinations because there's so many different things. I should show you one thing. This is a sky. You get a sneak peek ahead of my March coloring pages. This is a sky that I have seen in real life. They don't call where I live the land of living skies for nothing. So this is in my spooky book. And this is a sky that I have actually seen. Where the sky is pink and yellow and the clouds are dark blue underneath and purple on top. So that's what I like to do. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, the background on this spooky page is completely blank. You just have the raven and the trees on the bottom. But I envisioned seeing lovely spooky flying across a this is actually more of a morning sky. So, but yeah, I see things like that, and that's what I want to do again. That's one of my pages too for March. And I like looking at trees and how the leaves go through them. It's just, I have time now to spend a little more time doing that. It seems. Anyways, here we go. Back to this. This I had done a kind of a sienna brown around the outside of these. I picture this being done with different types of wood. Mahogany and ebony, all sorts of stuff. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out, Devin, afterwards. The set for 5 buckaroos. Oh, my Ruffino set that I got at the thrift store. Oh, just a sec. If that's what you're talking about, here's my cigar box. So it's what? It's about 6 by 8, I guess. Fit 20 cigars. And there's all the pencils. So there's probably 100 and some odd pencils. So this is the Marco Raffine colors. And this was fun. Oh, I even have a mechanical pencil in there, a pen. putting them on the floor. And then, oh yeah, and then here's a black Sharpie pen in there, sketch with. And I think there's a regular pencil I had put in here too somewhere buried. But that's what I took on vacation. And it has a little lock on it so I can, it's not going to open. But those are more oil-based pencils. Oh, thank you, Devin, for putting that down. I will be checking those out later myself, since I hadn't seen them yet. Let's get back to this. So I think I want to do a little more. That's what I want. Of the Crayola here. Not quite as dark as the Sierra Brown. And it's a different type of lead too. It's a little harder. Kind of outlines it a bit more. And then what I had done with just the inside of where the paddle came out. This is a pit pen again. And I just kind of crisscrossed hatched a little bit of a shadow in there. I think I can do this now with the Pit Pens because the ink is permanent, so it's not gonna, if I do apply anything water-based over top, it won't move. Just lightly, 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 lightly. See if I can create a tiny bit of shadow. Ah. Okay. So that kind of defines those a little more. Let's get on to the into the wood pieces again a little more. So I had added that as a base, and I think now I want to make sure that I have kind of where the planks are defined a little more. And those I had used this. I'm going to sharpen this pencil just a touch because I want only a tiny bit of this dark brown down under here. Just a tiniest bit. I don't know who's calling me, but so this is how I'm tackling this. That's going to kind of blend down a little bit once I get the other colors in. That's my desk making all that noise because I am putting my feet up on the rungs. So we'll bring some of this color back in again. Make sure that these carvings are colored. Now, when we started this particular railing was quite light. You can see now how just a little bit of color, that background is now quite a bit lighter than the foreground of the railing, the decorative railing. I'm talking like I know what I'm talking about, but I don't. I don't know what you guys want me to talk about. Oh, okay. So let's talk about that class maybe. So I haven't. It'll be more fun probably to talk after I've been there at least once, and maybe I can tell you about all the characters, if there's any, and we'll see how it goes. They say that there's going to be coffee served, but you can bring your own if you like. Okay. That's fine. We'll see. Maybe I'll bring something a little extra for my coffee. You never know. I want to go and have fun anyways. That's the whole point of all this, isn't it? Like, I love you guys, but I can't only have work and you guys. Love my kids. Can't only have work and my kids. So, it'll be interesting. My sister had some very interesting stories when she went back on the market, so to say. Okay. Nice to see you, Yolande, Devin, and yeah, come back again. Take care of Lucy. We'll talk again soon. Tomorrow's Monday, yes, and I've got tomorrow off tomorrow, so if I don't sleep in too much, I should be able to see all at Dee Dee's tomorrow. Anyways, getting back. So yeah, my sister had some interesting stories when she went back on the market, so to speak. We laughed and laughed. Now she has a dog. So, oh, you're listening, are you, Jimmy? So yeah, the boat's coming along. Just trying to do some, not grain work, but kind of just make sure that the, it's like when you're painting wood, you have to kind of paint in the direction of the grain. Well, I'm trying to color in the direction of the grain that I want the wood to go in now. I think that's a, yeah, that's a plank line there. Okay. So it's getting better. It's getting close to matching that. We're going to bring in the, where is it? There's another, there we go. For that the one I want? Cinnamon? I think so. Yeah. Just want this side here to be a little redder, and I know I'm going against the grain, but you can see some of those, that line work showing up, and I'm trying to stay on one plank. One plank. Just to give that a little more color. Yeah. Alrighty, get rid of that. Come back to my yellow. Now I want to put a little deeper more. Oh dear. You'd go right to the dog and save myself the trouble. Well, I have a cat. So, if needs be, he already sleeps with me, so I think I'll be okay. So I want to bring this to be up more like along the color here. And match. That's the only thing. I was trying to be good to you guys. I know what I need to do. I need to put a little bit more sienna in there. Yes. On the bottom line. Uh-oh. I said oh because I opened up my pencil sharpener, but opened it up on the cleaning side, which isn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to open it up on the sharpening side. You open it up on the clean side and all the shavings come out. Kind of like that. But yeah. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see. That's better. A little bit more in there is more like what I needed. In between. And then I can bring that yellow in a little stronger. Doo, doo, doo. There we go. Well, hello, Crafts with Heather B. Nice to meet you. I don't think that I've ever met you before, but glad that you could come in for a visit here. I'm just in here coloring today. I had done watercolor on this page previously, and now I'm just going in with some coloring pencils to actually make it a much deeper. You can kind of see the difference between this page here and this page here. I'm working on the wood right now. So nice to meet you. Thank you, Husky. A lot of that's got to do with how, of course, the artist drew the water, but thank you. I did, the first thing I did on this page was the water originally, and it was more of a wet on wet wash, which allowed this creative little bit to happen. And then I've gone over it a little bit with some other more watercolors to kind of define some of these areas here, and now I'm just back with my pencils. So And that's how all that was created. So yes, the base was watercolors and a couple of layers of watercolors, and now I'm just trying to finish this off with my pencil crayons and with some gel pens and other pens. So here we go. Let's see if I can just get this moving. I tend to find myself doing a lot of yakking now that I'm getting used to talking to myself, I guess. I'm not getting much done. Or at least trying to answer people's questions if they're in the chat. If you are wanting to ask me a question, I would ask that you put it in capitals, and it does make it easier for me to spot those. See how that's coming along. Yeah, this paper out of this coloring book, and this is the coloring book Find Color by Gugeli. It's a Chinese artist, but this paper is like thick. It's got a beautiful tooth to it. It's taking a lot of abuse, and yeah, I am very happy with it. I love working with it. It is a dream with pencils. The watercolor works great. The gel pens glide over it. Yeah, I cannot complain about this paper. So Husky, I know that we met on some other place, and you were talking about some of the stuff that you do creatively. Do you color in coloring books? That type of thing, or do you like to do you like to create some of your own things? Your own artwork. Coloring books are a great escape. That's for sure. That's coming along. That's coming along. Much better. Trying to just create a little more wood texture there. This is down here where you see all this white. That's some foam being splashed up. Actually, let's see if I can get a little more. That in there, because when I go over that with the white gel pen, that'll show up much better. Alrighty, liking how that's coming. This is a little bit sunnier yet. I think I'm going to, there it is, crimson red. Wasn't that one? There you are. Can't go by the names of colors. This one's called sepia, but it's a very red sepia compared to others. And I'm just going to put that in there. Because I had brought this more red color in here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That needs to be more brown to me. So yeah, I got some plans. Summer's coming up. One of the things I have also gotten at the thrift store is I have managed to find some fairly large canvases. And I mean like canvases 16 by 24, not just little 8 by 10 canvas boards. I'm talking about frame canvases. And what I'd like to do in the summer is maybe take it all outside and do some mixed media painting, artwork outdoors, and get really wild with it instead of like in here. It's a little hard to be throwing paint around. If I was in the basement, maybe, but I'm not, so. I don't have quite the dedicated art space maybe that Devin has. I want to put a little more red in there. That's looking better. So yes, I leave a lot of my messy projects to be done outside in the summer, like when I made all my natural dyes. Now I have to tell you guys, I still have some of those dyes. They have been stored safely in my refrigerator in a screw top jar. Lovingly marked dye, do not use. And yeah, so I can dye some more papers if I choose to. So I like how that's looking. You can see I've got that matched pretty good. I still have this back end to do. Let me just see where I'm at. Oh my goodness, you finished baking and everything's in the oven. I've been on here a couple of hours already. And that's something that I wouldn't mind doing, actually, is getting some baking done. But let me just show you what I planned on doing with their faces. Now, I'm a big proponent of using complementary colors to help you with shadowing. So, because they are so peach right now, my girls, a good way to kind of get a little bit of shadow in and not too dark is to add a little green in where I think the shadow is going to be, and I'm barely touching this, but you can see it's kind of coming out a gray, and I want some on this side of her nose. Well, a little in here, a little under there. This is like, I'm putting so little of this color on here. I don't know if you can see, but I'll put some in your ear there. I'm not making her green. I'm just trying to get some shadow in here that's not, that when I go with other color on top of it, it won't necessarily be so prevalent. You'll see. You can see right here where her eye starts. Cuts off from her where her nose is. It's got a tiny bit in there. And the reason I'm using green is because it's the opposite color of red. This is a very light green, so against the peach, it's showing up quite nicely. Not too dark. And I can outline her lips a little bit with that. Okay. Now I want to get a little more of a peachy pinky color. What have I got here? Okay, this is one of my Star Joys. This one's called Flashlight. It's, I would never color anybody that color. No, I would never color anybody that color, but like I say, don't go with the names. Hello, Kate. Nice to meet you. Glad you could come in and visit. I hope everybody's remembering too to give me that thumbs up, either now or, you know, before you go. But do it now before you forget. It's always better. Some of that on top of that color again. You can see that green kind of blends in with that a little bit. Becomes more of a gray than a green. I put that in here. A little here. There we go. Not a lot. Just trying to give her a little hint of color at the moment. Oh, now let's not forget some hands here. Do have her hands. Put a little bit of that in there. Because her hands probably should look something like her skin. So it never hurts to bring some of the same color in. I'm going to bring back that green for her hands. Just in where the shadow is, see? Just deepens that without making it black. There'll be more of that. go. So let me see. I want to bring in a little bit more blue into her face, but it's going to be a very light blue. Mediterranean blue. Here we go. Again, just a little more sharp. Shouldn't blow on your pages. Again, just gonna see, I sharpened that pencil, and now I can bring that around her ear a little more. It just seems a little more natural to me. And I'll blend that out with some other fleshy colors. Yeah, I like that with your ear. Go same up here. Remember, her ear is pretty much in the dark too. Also want to bring this a little darker in here. I want to use this blue instead of a gray right underneath this line of her eyelash. The artist has actually put it in a gray, but that represents the shadow of her eyelid over across her eyeball. Indian red, yeah. This is just a little bit of the same color that I'd been using through the sales, that I just kind of tinted both of their lips while I was working on them. And take a little bit of this blue into her hair too. Especially in the lighter areas. Because it's a good color for maybe giving me some of that. Use your colors around your page, and your pictures become more cohesive if you can use them in lots of areas. And hair flicking when your pencils are sharp is the best, because you'll get the best marks. Oh, nice to see you back. Good, you can come back. And yes, I am adding more of this blue to her hair, because her hair is supposed to be silver, remember? Or that's what I want it to look like. So this light blue will help with that illusion. Because that's all that coloring books and artwork is an illusion that the artist creates to convey a perception of the world around them. How's that for philosophy? Holy smokes. And I thought that up on the fly. Maybe I heard it somewhere before. I don't know. But that's all that this is a visual representation. This is a 2D visual representation of something that is 3D. There. Coming along, coming along. Well, yeah, busybodies and gossip and I know what you mean. But yeah, hide your papers. I used to go and find just a nice quiet spot where there wasn't anybody around. And if a stranger came by and decided to be a busybody, it was more a quiet chat, thank you, and got back to what I was doing. Didn't feel bad about ignoring them. Anyways, like how that's coming along. Let's do a little work on, more work on her face. On her face. I want to give her a little bit of a blushy. No, not too pink. I already done a little bit on the, this is a bit of a poppy red. So it's a little more on the orange side than our too red. Also gives you the idea that, you know, she has skin back here behind her hair. Just lightly. Just lightly. There we go. Tiny bit over here, not too much. Now she's looking a little more lifelike. Let's just do a little bit on her too. And I'm going to go in there a little bit. There we go. There we go. That's better. That's better. I don't know what you guys are responding to, but I hope you're having fun. Anyways, I think that I've been on here, I've been on here for long enough this afternoon. I need to take a break and get myself a drink, and I still have my coloring pages. That sounds like a great plan, Chris, and I'll be sure and share you out when I can. That's for your English channel. Okay? And I'll also ask them to take care to subscribe to your Spanish channel. I hope that if I, by subscribing to your Spanish channel and listening to you and reading it, that I will begin to understand more. I find when I'm submersed in something that it helps. Anyways, thank you very much, ladies. I will probably be finishing this up, and I'll show you again at another time. Please come back and see me again soon. I'll keep you up to date on all of my coloring news. And tomorrow is Monday, so I'm going to try and get up and see Dee Dee in the morning. And I hope you all have a great Sunday with your families. Have lots of good food. Don't eat too many bunnies. And we'll see you again soon. Bye now. Oh, don't forget to give me that thumbs up. Bye.